How's it going, everyone? KingBlackToof here, and welcome to this tutorial. Today's lesson is denying your opponent's thinning. Early on into your Gwent matches, you'll experience opponents opening with cards which lay the foundation to play further cards from their deck. The Northern Realms Blue Striped Scout is a great example of this and a favourite among the community, and is often followed up by a Reaver Scout to play another Blue Striped Scout from their deck. The Reaver Scout requires the unit to be on the board for him to target in order to be able to pull another one from the deck. This sequence of plays will thin your opponent's deck and improve their draws of golds and silvers in later rounds. Today, we will be looking at how to disrupt or deny this type of play. If we can prevent the opponent from easily doing this, his round 1 plays will be much more difficult for him, and his later round draws much worse. Here are some good examples of cards which tend to lead to this sort of gameplay. In Skellige, a Raging Berserker is played. This is usually followed up by a Heime Battle Maiden, which will transform the Raging Berserker and pull another Raging Berserker from the deck. This will give that person a deck thinning of 1. In Northern Realms, a Blue Striped Scout is played. This will also pull a Blue Stripes Commando. This is usually followed up by a Reaver Scout, which will target the Blue Striped Scout, pull another Blue Striped Scout from the deck, which will in turn pull another Blue Stripes Commando from the deck. This will give them the thinning of 2. In Nilfgaard, an Alba Pikeman could be played. This will pull another Alba Pikeman from the deck on the next turn, and on the turn after, another Alba Pikeman for free. That is 2 deck thinning over 2 turns. When your opponent plays one of these cards as a prerequisite to pulling more from their deck, your main aim is to identify that and remove it from his side of the board using what we like to call removal. Removal comes in many forms in Gwent. You can destroy it with actual damage, sending it to the graveyard using cards like Alzor's Thunder or possibly Madman Lugos to do quite a hefty amount of damage. You can banish it by weakening its base strength down to 0, which will remove it from the game, using cards like Marjoram or Mandrake. You can transform the card into a Jade figurine using cards like Artifact Compression. There is no way for the opponent to get his original card back if it has been transformed in this way. One of the more popular denying techniques at the moment is the golden special card Muzzle. This can pull a silver or bronze card of 8 strength or less from the opponent's side of the board onto your side of the board, which will in turn deny a target for things like the Reaver Scout and the Heime Battle Maiden. Using any of these techniques will disrupt their game plan and force them to play slightly differently. Some will want this thinning so much that they play a valuable silver or gold card of their own in order to replay that card you removed, either from the graveyard or play another copy so they can get the chain going again. If they cannot get another copy of this card on the board in some way, they will be forced to abandon that game plan and continue playing cards from their hand in possibly an unoptimal way. This will lead to your opponent having bronzes in his deck which are not useful in later rounds, and an increased chance to draw them over golds and silvers which are much more valuable. However, many of these removal cards are silvers and golds for you as well, and are quite valuable. Consider this when you're removing their bronze card, as that removal card might be quite valuable to you at a later time. It is in your opponent's interest to play safe when possible, and they will likely try and get a second copy of this bronze in their hand for such an eventuality of removal. And this will mean that your removal was less effective because they can play that second copy from hand and then continue the chain from there. They may even attempt to bait your removal in this way. And that will bring us on to the next lesson.
Interesting, interesting to see him go for the reinforcements right off the bat, even though he has a Blue Stripe Scout in his hand. I wonder why he opted to do that. Maybe he's trying to bait him. That's so good. That's so good. He baited the muzzle, making him think that he doesn't have the other one. That is next. Look at his face. He knew it. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. The trash stuff.
Absolutely fantastic.